Good afternoon, everyone. It is a Wednesday, hump day, and it's a little later in the day than I'm usually on, but all's good, all's well. Just doing some maintenance and other coding this morning that I had to do. But we're back and I'm on, and we'll see what we can do. But basically, today I'm jumping back in on working on the 3D plugin. I want to be able to hook up the 3D website CMS to WordPress's WooCommerce 3D site, or shopping cart site. So basically, I'm building the conduit that works between the two by building a plugin on the 3D site, and then I already have a plugin that is on the WordPress site. We'll make some modifications to that, make them talk to each other, and be able to use these hosted sites as 3D sites for WooCommerce stores. And with that, let's jump right in. It showed up down here. Don't tell me I'm still gonna. Let's see. That computer's completely independent of this one, and that one's coming through, so something's working. Yeah. Actually, it says broadcasters in the chat, and that's me, and that's it. So, okay, just getting going here. Let's see. Okay. Okay, what I was working on yesterday is I created a bunch of different places within this admin menu, which of course is our admin menu on the left here. I created a bunch of hooks so that we could actually add from a plugin, we can add code to different places within our page. Then all we have to do is name whatever we're calling it, and it'll automatically put it wherever we've said that we want to do it. So with that in mind, there's a number of them already in place for the different menus, and we're going to see what we can do with that. And then finally, I need to be able to add some more of these sections in here as menus within the page too. I think I've already get admin menu, blah, 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 blah. That's the regular admin menu, no problem there. Okay, so we haven't created the part that allows us to put clips of these pages into place, but I'll go ahead and see what we can do about that anyway. Okay, running right on through the lines. Let me kind of trim up what we're working on here. We don't need that and that today. We're using this. The multiplayer is not the one I'm working with. Add this PC. Let's get our sites up here. And it would be under the uploads, content, plugins, and shopping. That's the one we're working with. I'm going to shrink down. Okay, we shrunk down that one, got out of the way. And we have functions. In here, one of the functions we have is 3D stores and 3D shopping. The stores function is actually the postback from whenever we're doing a iframes page to save and update data. The other one here is the class that we're loading when we fire it off. So in here, I have a number of things that we've already created. We created some main admin menu items, such as this, and we have a list of stores, and we have add store where we could add another one. Once we have a list, we can edit it now, and we can delete it, cancel it, or save it. So we have a little bit of functionality with that, but that part is listed right here. And next, what I want to do is we want to add a submenu and be able to add in the pieces that are part of that submenu. So let's see what we have to do. First of all, when I added a submenu, I created this submenu piece here. That's an admin menu, and I need to extend that to the plugins so that it's part of this class. So let's bring open the core functions and get to the plugins class. Okay, so in the plugins class, which is right there, in here we have a number. Let me see, where do I have? I know I extended the class to okay, let's find out. Add menu item, find that, find in files. Let's check in the right files, upload, blah, blah. Okay, let's get to the right folder. And it's right here. Content, plugins, and shopping. I want to make sure I'm looking in the right place. Okay, well, of course, those are the three. Find that and look in the main site, which is here, which I already had it on it. I should have just clicked play. Just click search. Okay, we're using it, and plugins page, there it is. This is what I want to do. This particular one, if it's set, then return this, else return false. That's fine. We're going to do the same thing with the settings menu item, full page form, add menu forms, and we're going to put it right here. Then it'll only work if the admin menu is loaded, which is fine because we don't need it when the admin menu isn't, which means that it's the plugins part for iframes and Connect. We wouldn't want to load this and we wouldn't need it. But when we load it for a regular page, it does get loaded when we go to when we're on the admin site. So, okay, so let's go back here, and we have add submenu item, which is, oops, and that's the function right here. So I am going to extend that exact same function as is, pass every variable that comes into it to this function as is, pass every variable as it sits. That way we've gone from here to here, and it returns whatever this had in place. And now we can use this function, adding a submenu item, and we can tell it where we want to put it. So from here, we're going to now do it as plugins page. And the first part, the Z menu, what this is, we're looking to see where we want to put it in the actual menu. So to look at that, right now we're looking at under my communities, we have options and settings. I want to drop it into this section, maybe after snapshot, and it's going to be one that says 3D store settings or something of that nature. We could put it, this is where I've been bouncing back and forth. I could put it as part of the community information that it ties it in, but because it is at that level, but so is the gravity, the permissions, and the snapshot. That is at that same level too. So it kind of belongs in this menu. And being from a plugin, it would be better to have it as a separate item. With that said, we are going to look at the admin page and notice under community, we have community options, and these are the settings. So if this one, I'm going to copy this from right here, just because all the rest of the settings are correct, or quite a few of them. So if I take that and put this here, and now what I want to do is I have to tell it what to do. User roles, we're going to go with these same roles here. And instead of 25, I'm going to make it 27, just so it's after that item. We're going to call this item 3D stores. 3D store settings. Okay, that will first give us the option to enable it, is what we really want in that area. admin community and stores. I could make that shopping so that it matches that end of it. That kind of hits the right naming for the whole scheme. And then we are going to want to create some type of JavaScript that happens when we click it. We'll get to that in just a moment. We're going to want to do some things here. So first thing we're going to do is let's make sure that puts the menu item where we think it's going to. So if I refresh this page, I know, that's what, Sesame Street influence. That's a good memory. That's from probably at least 45 years ago. And options and settings, and we were able to add 3D store settings to the list. That's a good sign, but of course when we click it, it doesn't do anything because we haven't told it to do anything yet. So we're going to take it to the next stage, which is I'm going to, we need to create something now to allow us to add a okay. We need to add a piece into our plugins functionality. Well, it's also our admin menu functionality, and this particular one is going to allow us to add segments like this where they actually have some type of hide and show type functionality. Notice all these other ones. I've already gone through and fixed a number of things here, and I'll probably do some more with this. There's enough reason to, but we'll see about doing that afterwards. What I want to do is I'm going to make sure that whatever section we open, we can also close, which means I'm going to use a class on it so that we can automatically tell it to close the class when you go open a new item. That way the end user doesn't have to worry about things lingering around and staying open. It's not their functionality to make sure it closes, it's ours. That way, yeah, we got a little bit more flexibility for any item that was created. We can automatically tell it to close them. We are going to drop these sections right here. This is where it's going to exist, and basically let's call a class. How'd I do it before? I've already done this twice, so I don't want to make it too different if I've already done it, which means looking the menu class, and we just did settings forms, created an array of the settings forms with the different functionality that we needed it to do, and dumped them out on the page. When we ran through it all, we formatted it and dropped them onto the page. Oh, excuse me. I know. It's one of those days, So, so how's everyone doing today? Okay, just getting going late in the day, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an array that allows me to save the sections of the form just like I did before, because it tends to be a good representation of how to do it, because we can also wrap in the access required, and that format tends to be pretty good for being able to do it. I'm going to copy these two functions here. We're going to add them to our admin class. I'm going to do it down near the bottom here. Since we're doing something very similar to what we did before, this time it's just in a different place on the page, but we will add admin menu form, find files. I just double check and make sure that the name of the function isn't already taken so that I'm not doubling over on anything like that. Okay, we'll copy that here and get admin forms and make sure that function isn't taken so we're not duplicating those efforts. By the way, if you're listening, I got something really cool going on this weekend. On Sunday, I'm going to try to stream from my cell phone. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm actually going to be volunteering at a wheelchair regatta. I've done it about 6 or 7 times already or more. And it's once a year function at Silvergate Yacht Club down in San Diego. Hello. And what it is we invite over 300 people that are in wheelchairs or ambulatory and have handicap situations, and basically we give them a ride on the bay on some boats down in San Diego, and we take them for a nice ride, and we also feed them lunch, and yeah, so just give them a day away from their life, and hopefully they enjoy it, which from the smiles we've seen in the past years, it's a really cool situation, really cool event. So this Sunday I'm going to be doing that, and leading up to it I'll be preparing for it. So I'm going to be off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday probably. But it's called the Wheelchair Regatta, which is down at San Diego Bay. We're going to be a Silvergate Yacht Club, and basically I'm volunteering to help about 300 people take rides on boats. We have a bunch of Marines and military that come out and help lift up the wheelchairs and put them on boats, and they take them for a nice ride on the bay. No. But the guests will be. I'm not in a wheelchair, and so I appreciate the fact that God's been good to me, and basically I like to give back, and it's a great event. So I go down to San Diego, and we basically help people get rides on boats and get a couple hours out there and stuff. So, but basically I wanted to just tell you, so from on Sunday when I come on, I'm going to be trying to see if I can broadcast from my cell phone, just so I can kind of show you a few minutes of the event. But if I don't show up, it means that the signal wasn't good enough and I couldn't pull it off. But I'm hoping to. Just wanted to let everybody know in case you're listening. Okay, so let's get back to this. What I have now is we're going to create another array, and this one is going to be admin forms. And admin forms. Okay, so wherever I said, okay, so admin menu forms, since I have setting forms here, we're going to make that admin forms, and setting forms here, and make that admin forms, and that should give us the structure. So we have a form ID, a title, form data, and then access required. That should be our wrapper for it. And this part here, we'll have to check on the different format. I think we're actually pretty close here. That isn't the right function. We'll see what class we want to use, but I'll make sure we have a class for this in a minute. We got a few things to do before we can do that. First, get admin menu forms. I'm going to take this piece and we're going to put it right here. And that will be WTW admin admin menus. Oops. I don't know what I clicked. Come on back. There it is. Admin menus. And that's it. Okay, so from here, okay, so let's see, get that in there. That will put our admin forms on the page. Now I should be able to add what I'm going to put in that structure. This looks like the class that I'm going to be using, so let's copy that, go back over to here, and on this format we'll put it there. And other than that, we're going to find out what that back button does, and so we can do some stuff with that. This is kind of a different menu than a lot of these other ones, but I think we're going to be fine. We'll figure out what we're doing there in a second. We're going to put some things on the page, and then we're going to teach them how to act and behave. So that's the easiest way to get them onto the page, and then we'll teach you what to do. Because I think this piece right here, in fact, let's see, that one I haven't done anything with yet. Okay, I'm shocked, but that isn't the one I was using before. Here we had this menu. I just want to see, because I think that's the one that I did the code for. Yep, right here. So I did a code that let it hide all the thing by saying close menus, and it uses this function or this class to decide which ones. This is not, that's not the correct format, so that isn't exactly absolute bottom right. Blah, blah, blah. No, this is not the right. This is a box for the bottom right corner. We're not going to use that same thing. Let me look for this. Fine. I think I've already done this. That's why I'm looking. Just taking a couple glances across the code to see. Dashboard page, full page, admin menu, div. That looks more familiar. Okay, open admin menu, submenu. This does the admin menu divs. That's what I want it to be. Okay, there it is. So we're going to call it this, and whoops, where'd I find it? This one, open submenu item. We're closing all the other ones, and then we're telling it which one to open. Okay, so if looking at this code, if I come in here, and let's first create the function. We already created this. Okay, so that's where that one puts it. This is what it's going to do, and we need a function. I think I just found the function we want. We're going to tell it admin open submenu. And that would be WTW, this, and literally this in that spot. That should open the submenu. Now we just have to define what a submenu is. Let's take this, and we're going to use this function right here to determine the name of that submenu, or to set it up. So put that here. Okay, the first part is it's taking the same name as this one, and it's actually just adding the letters div at the end of it by nature. So if I do that, then that function will automatically find this box. Next, I'm gonna do the same thing here where it's 3D store settings. is the title of the actual box. Format data or form data, we'll get to that in a second. And access required, we're going to leave it at these groups. So form data, let's look at form data. What do we want to put in form data? I think I've already done a couple. See how I've done these down here. This is kind of what we're going to do. So I'm going to copy that, give us the format that we need. We'll put it underneath that other one right there. This one is store settings form. And let's see, we have, this is where we're going to put what we want it to have. Right now, what we have in a lot of these is, it's literally exactly what we want it to be at that time. We're going to have, we need to put a drop down, well, no. We need to enable it. No. We don't even have to enable it. If we put a drop down with an option that it's not enabled and then select the store, we should be able to populate our store list from this. So we want to, let me just think here a second. We're going to, I don't think there's any special indentions or anything like this. Let's see. I have a header item. Okay, and then I have a form div. No. Yeah, basically, I was just looking to see if I had any special formatting around here. We could do one item that says, this one will be a header that tells us the name, well, no, the item, which is going to be select or connect 3D store. That's what I need. Connect 3D store. And then after that, there's really not going to be a lot here. We'll decide what else afterwards, but I need a select statement, ID equals select. We're just going to see about getting it populated at this moment, and we'll build it from there. But let's get the basics in place first. Let's see. I might want to indent that, so I'm just going to put a div here and a div after it. We'll see if we want to do a certain style. I think I have class equals WTW indent. I think I did that. If that's the case, it'll work. If not, we'll fix it. This here, let's call it something nice. Okay, this one, what it is, it's WTW shopping, which is the name of the class. And we're going to call this select store. We're going to do community. We're going to do community select store or connect store. Let's do it with the name that it shows there. Community, because we're also going to have one for building and thing. So I want to kind of set up the framework for that so it's in place. Okay, when this opens, I'm going to run a function. Okay, let's go back to here. And so this is, just so we have this in place, this is going to be this information right here. So I'll say this. That will drop our form information in place at that point. And then we're going to, that'll build that piece out. Next, well, let's see if that works, because it has to pop open the box and close the other pieces that are open in that, which is this particular menu when we do. My server's not running the fastest today, only because I'm performing some routine maintenance on it, and while that's going on, it actually slows down the connection. I would have been on earlier today, but that's kind of why I had to stall a little bit, let it get closer to being finished. But in the meantime, as you can tell, it's not my normal self. It's running a bit slow, takes a little longer to load up the page. Sometimes it gives me a gateway error because of it, so that tells you it is tripping and doing a few things along the way, taking a little longer to load. Inconvenience. Okay, so we have a couple things here. Property stub. Okay, so something didn't load right, but I want to see if this item does something. No, we're not getting anything at that. Okay, we'll play around with that. First parts first. Okay. I think before I add too much into this function here, let's see if the page actually creates without anything here. Settings form, sorry, wrong one. Oh, store settings form. Yeah, that is the correct one, I'm sorry. Let's remark out both those lines just so that we know they're not causing any weird things. And this piece here. Wait a minute, did I delete too much here? Oh no, it's here. Sorry, looking in the wrong place. We should have admin forms as setting form. Let's change that to admin form. I know I don't have all these pieces in place yet. Let's get them going here. Okay, that'll be the form ID, which is the name of the file we're working with. Form data, form title, form ID. That's all good. That should be fine. Okay, form data. Did I do anything with that last time? No. I just put it in there and it was working. Okay, form data gets read out if it's set. If it's not set, it goes to blank. Otherwise, here we go. If there's a form, then it puts the form on the page and it uses this particular format. That's all fine. And then form data gets inserted there. Okay, I should have a title and I should get this part of the box opened up when I do that. Something else wasn't playing nice because it didn't like a few things along the way, which tells me there's something else affecting it. And I didn't even open up a JavaScript page, but let's reload it again just to see if it's actually a problem with that or not. I know it's running a little slower today, but we're still going, we're still running. No. Let's see if it opens without. No, we're getting core script errors, which means something else is going wrong. Basic, that shouldn't be happening. That should not be erroring out. Notice it's erroring every time I highlight over something. That means one of my scripts didn't even load. Okay, which means that this is never going to work because we're not even getting that far. Okay. Bum. This one, let's see, menu forms, drops it there. Get admin menu forms is the one I put in the page right here. You know what? I'm going to remark out that for the moment, and I just want to see if that's what's causing the problem. If I'm having trouble loading this and stuff, then I might have to just wait till tomorrow and then do it again. Wait till all my maintenance running is done. But you know how it is. You got to run maintenance every once in a while. Keep everything running. Like I said, it's taking a long time to load a page. And because of that, I don't know if the error we're getting is because of that, or if it's because of the page load size, or if it's having a problem and parts of the page are not loading properly. That could be the case because of the loading issue right now. And that's part of the maintenance on my server that's causing it. So with those pieces in place, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a good test right now or not. See, now I'm getting a Google Analytics error, connection closed. That has nothing to do with the other things that were happening a minute ago. And see this one here, I don't even know if that's clicking. Okay. Let's go. There could be an issue with the order that things are loading. I still contend that that could be an issue. I'll have to find out here shortly, but for now, if I come in here and say console log, and I just tell it to, here it is, then when we run this, we click that link, we should see that console log running, executing. So let's see if that actually happens. And I'll take us a step closer if it is. I know that's the thing. You add new code, you end up with errors, and you got to fix them as you go. And, you know, that's just part of coding. But at the same time, if you're having problems on the server and then you're trying to do it, well, you don't know if we're getting a problem on the server. It's not that it's a problem on the server. I'm doing maintenance, so because I'm doing the maintenance, I know it's causing certain issues like load times are real slow and going through some different things on that. So, If that's the case, then I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow. Okay, looks like we got a clean load this time. That's doing better. And when I click this, here it is. So it did run that. And I want to see, if I go in here, I want to see if in this section, near the bottom of it, admin menus, 9, and then admin menu 70, selective, quick editor settings. No, it actually should be, unless I put it inside of something by accident, which could have happened. That's not where it happened. See, admin menu 70 is right here. So if that's showing up after the div, oh, I've remarked it out, sorry. Now that we don't have that error, let's see if we can get a good clean load with this in place. And I'm going to check by highlighting admin menu 70, it should show up right after that. So let's see if that's what happens. Bum. Come on, load up, expand, do your part, do your thing. Let's see if we get past with the console, see if everything loads without errors. That'd be good to know. Nope, see, we're getting errors. I don't know if it's related to the piece I just tried to load or not. It shouldn't, because I didn't mess with JavaScript, but that doesn't mean it didn't. We're gonna see if there's a reload on this and see if it'll catch it all correctly. If not, we're gonna find out where the issue is with that piece and fix it. In fact, admin menus, did I type that right? Is it menus or menu? Admin menu. There we go. That would be the first part of the problem, is I called it admin menus instead of admin menu. I meant to check that when I first typed it. Okay, now that we know that part was broken, let's refresh it, because it's going to be looking for a class that didn't exist, and basically the page was erroring out just so that it could even show up on the page. Okay, and loading. No, a lot of white screen stuff here. Somebody made a comment the other day saying, okay, old school programmers like to use white screens behind their code. And I've already changed it on my desktop. I changed it on the theme within OBS, and I changed it on my cell phone even to look at it the other direction from a Dark Knight theme, and I just haven't done it on Notepad++ yet. Okay, so we go here, store settings. Here it is, but no, it didn't show that. Let's see if the page physically exists. Did it actually create that section as I was talking about? There should be a section 70 here, and following right after should be this section, and it did not get inserted. Did it get nested? No, show materials and stuff, that's all part of that piece before it. Quick editor settings is after it. Nope. Okay, so it did not create this section. Let's find out why. It could be there's some permissions around this, and access require array of allowed values has permission. Let's set. Just to do it, let's remark the permissions line out first and see if it can display it. Just troubleshooting here a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's see. Options and settings, store settings, and it didn't find it. But I don't think it put it on the page, so we're going to do some more troubleshooting in there. Yeah, it didn't show up. Should have showed up right in between here. And since it didn't, we're going to see if we can't figure out what's happening at this area. Forms, the access required, which is admin forms as form, then form ID, title, and access required, and then form data. Oh, form data comes up blank. It's not going to do anything. So the fact that I decided to test it without any data is the exact reason why it's not showing anything. There's no form if you don't have form data. Okay, that would make a difference. It's doing exactly what I told it to. How dare it? Okay, I'm catching up. I'm catching up. If it was a morning, I'd probably be a little faster on some of these items. Dark and cold. Oh, yeah, it was. Okay, come on, load up for us. Let's see if we can get a good clean load. Good, so far so good. Let's see, and if it comes over here, because the next part I have to do is tell it to load the drop down. And we get, here it is, but it isn't. Okay, going to here. That's number 70 is right there. And it should be right after that, which obviously we do not see it. Okay, let's track some code. Let's find out what's going on. First of all, let's check it right here. And we're going to do a console log. We're just going to see what we actually have here. We're going to do, let's try count of this right here, which is our forms. Let's see if it actually read in the form and if we have something to look at. That'd be the first thing we need to know. Because if it has a form, then of course that's one thing. If it doesn't, then somehow there's something out of order or something where we need to make sure it gets loaded before it tries to use it. We'll have to make sure that it actually puts something into that array, which is the function above it. So one way or another, we're going to track that down and see where we are. Okay, come on, load up, load up, load up. Do. Yeah, loading's a little slow on the site today, only because I'm doing some maintenance in the background, so couldn't avoid it. I tried running it earlier today, and it just took longer than I expected. But you have to do it every once in a while, and since I stream every single day, it was inevitable that it had to happen at some point while I needed the site. But it'll be done, and then tomorrow will be nice and clean. So had to do it. Okay, with this piece, we did not, length equals 0. So as I thought, we are not getting that item put into here. I know why. We did the admin menu form. We did this in the plugins. We did the submenu, but we did not do the admin menu form. So it wasn't passing, wasn't finding the actual, wasn't finding the function. So from here, gonna go here and basically pass that this way. It's a little, I tried to make it convenient so that the people that use the plugins can only, I'm extending all the different functions that you normally use in a plugin so that you don't have to chase your tail trying to find which class each thing is in. If you're doing a plugin, you include the plugin class and it has everything. If you're doing a connect, you can use everything from the connect functions. And if it's an iframe, you do it all for there. But that allows us to extend it out this way, and now that should fix the problem that I forgot to put it in place. So, yeah. I know we can't do the real graphics intense stuff right this minute with the server doing that, but that's why I picked what I'm working on today, getting this piece in place, is just because it's something I can work on and kind of limp through with the server running a little slower than it normally does. But by tomorrow we'll be back up at normal speed and everything should work better. So that's just nature of the beast. Okay, loading up, length equals 1. That's a good sign, and I think that's what I was missing, because now when I click this, here it is, but wait a minute, let's see if we see the actual item in the page. Okay, we'll okay, scroll down through all those. We have number 70 is right there, and now we have one right here called that class equals this, but I don't think, since we told it to display none, it should have went, let me see how our naming is. We're going to check a couple things. Now we have a JavaScript thing going on. When we named this particular class, what we did was we said if the name of the menu selection is this, then we add the letters div to the end of it, and that should be the name of the box that it opens. Then this function, I'm just going to put an equal sign after it and it'll go right to it. This function, which is interesting, oh yeah, it's okay, closes out everything with the class name called this, and then it looks for the object, which is the one with the name of the piece that gets passed with the letters div on the end. That should be the name we're looking for. Then if display equals none, it should show it. So the display should be none. It should get to this piece right here. Let's go through it. The object ID, copy, that would be that, and here we're going to say show, and just to do it, I'm going to say hide here. I want to know if it's trying to show it or if it's going to hide it. It's trying to do if display equals none, but notice when we create these items, they are display equals none. Well, it is now, so I want to find out. Display should be none because in our admin menu class, which is right here, we are setting display equals none when they're created. So it should always be display equals none. It should automatically build this section around it. It should have built-in scroll bars if necessary. The whole thing should be in place just by doing it. Okay, so if that's the case, let's find out what it was thinking when we tried to run that code. So it should have done it. It should have opened it. Loading up. Options and 3D store settings when I do it. Community stores div. That's what it's trying to open, and it said hide. So somehow it detected that it was already closed. Oh, it did show, and then it did hide. It's running it twice. It's going show and then hide automatically. That's a new one. the one we're using. This is not the droid you're looking for. Okay, so if that's the case, hide full page form. I think admin menu div. No, that's actually fine. That should work. Where's admin menu div being used? That's fine. Those are the sections that I'm using. Okay, I am creating one like that. Is that my problem? Am I trying to duplicate some work here? Admin menu div, and if I scroll back up a little bit, did I or did I not? Admin menu div, that allows a badge. No, because that gives me the menu item and the div all in one. I separated them so that we can parse it out and create just menu items. It allows us to a little bit of control over that. So we have this, we're getting in here, we're doing this, and it's actually spitting this on the page. But for some reason, when I click this, well, this hides menu subdivs. Okay, if it's not equal to this object ID, which is the case, then it should hide it. Then it would automatically show. Let's find out. You know what? I think let's find out what this is saying right when we run this function right off the start, because somewhere here something's not playing nice. Equals that, and we should be able to find out what that is when it first gets into this function, because second it reads it, that's what I actually want to know. I don't know why it's triggering twice. I may have used a function that is already doing something else. Okay, just running through some menu options here. Let's see what happens if I click this. It says none. It creates the item. Display is blocked now. Wait a minute. Why did it... I have a feeling I'm creating it twice or running it twice. There must be something shutting it down or turning it on after I do it once. But because of that, it's actually, when I click this button, it's running twice. Then something is up with this function. I want to see where it's running because something's telling it to run it more than once. Or I have that class being called more than once. This particular piece, those are... Okay. I am telling it to run it twice. I don't need to tell it that because when I added the menu item to begin with in the menu, let's see, submenu, that'd be this one, and admin submenu, guess what I did? I left that in place. I'm actually running it twice. I do not need that piece, and that would explain a lot. Okay, so we do not need this because I automatically insert it in between every menu item that you create, and it looks for the div. So if you create one called this, it will automatically find it and run it. I had a feeling it was running twice. I just forgot that it was done. It was done that way. Now, when I run it, we should only get it running once, and it should actually open up the box that we're talking about. But the thing that gets me is it didn't close this section at any point in time. Yeah, it's kind of weird. We'll have to see what's going on with that. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Okay, loading up. We're one step closer, one step closer. We're almost there, we're almost there. If it would just load. Okay, length equals 1, that's a good sign. Excuse me. Okay, so it opened the section down here, Connect 3D Store. I did the whole thing down here for this, and it ran the piece that we expected it to, but it did not close this box, which means that was not that type of box. Let's see. It should start with options and settings, and it should have been this level. Okay, so we didn't close those. I need to do a little studying in here because I'm overlapping two different technologies that I had created in this area, and I want to use just one of them. So I don't want to... I think I have the wrong formatting in here. This one used a different thing. This one over here, for example, if I click on this, this box over here, it looks like I took on that format there, which means that class is wrong. The section where I'm trying to pull this open is the wrong one. I didn't build a class for this box over here yet, and I think that's where I'm running into trouble because I can't automatically close each one of these items because I was actually revolving through the names, looking WTW admin menu and then a number after it and rotating through and closing them all. But then I started using a class instead, so it became a lot easier to run through the class. But now what's happening is this is the wrong style for this particular box. And so I have to change the class on each one of those items. And then I can tell it to, when you click a menu item, automatically close all the classes that already exist and open the new box of the one that you need. So I've got to do a little bit of cleanup here and a little bit of work. I don't know exactly which piece I need to pull it from, but we're going to create one. Okay, so the bottom line is this function worked just fine, but it's not the right place for what we're doing. This is used by something else. Those are the menu divs that pop up on the bottom right. And so that one isn't going to help us with our designs of this section. We're not going to... I'm going to have to come up with a better design. It's not going to be this piece. I need to look. When I come to this section right here, and then the class menu header is that box up there. Okay, so this particular box doesn't really have anything about it other than a back button, and yeah, we'll have to define a back button. It's going to be a little harder to figure out where it's going to go back to. I can make it just back to... Bleh. Now I'd have to track what it came from to do back to automatically. Okay, thinking out loud. There's a few pieces here that aren't in place yet. We're going to have to build some more framework in around it to make this menu work properly. It worked fine the way it was, But the second I wanted to make it dynamic, it's not the right format to make it dynamic. And so that causes a different issue with being able to use it. Like here, I need to look at the menu and see, because it's the different boxes that I'm using. I'm going to do some of the same, I'm going to do some similar code to what I did here, where I looked by the class name and pulled up all the different things, and then I can toggle things based on if you click it or not. We'll do some functions like this, but the class name will have to be different. I may even pass the class and use this same function so that all we have to do is pass which class we're doing, and it'll automatically clear those classes. So we'll look at doing something like that. But the main idea is that each one of these, well, see, that has a selected, but that's the only one. That figures. That is not, I don't think that's the right one. Let's find out. Find in files. If we look for one with a period in front of it, we'll find the one that's in the, we'll get the one in the class. There it is. Display, hidden, and oh, it has a background color. That's not bad. It's a little shaded background color. That was used by Developer Tools, this one right here. That gives us a little bit of a shaded, but it still stays partially transparent when you move away from it. That's not a bad one to use. Let's see how popular it is. I'm gonna see how much I used it. See if it's something that stands alone, or is it something that was used 100 times. Okay, I used it in one place. Wow. That makes it easy to reuse. It's a good sign. Let's test that theory on, I want to see what it looks like when I call it as part of, let's pick one up here. Building, okay, building, community, actions. I've got a specific one. This one right here is the one I've been looking at. So if I put the class on this one and we open it, what that is, that class was being used by 3D communities, options and settings. Well, see, there's nothing in the background there. It keeps it dark and black in the background. No, I don't want to use that one there. I need one that is basically, well, let me just go all the way to the top first of all. It's going to have to cover that box right there. Oh, it didn't load it. I didn't reload it yet. Display, block, visible, that's what it's showing right now. Otherwise, display none, hidden. I think I can just create one. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I have one just called find in files, admin menu, find all, add admin menu and admin menu. Let's see what that one is. Oh, that's different. I don't want to get any background colors or anything like that. And admin menu div, I already have one for that, and it's colored in the background. Okay, admin submenu, and that has a hover. Okay, we've done some of these functions already, and we're not using them the way they were, so we're going to create a new one. I'm just going to have to do this. I'll put it with these other ones, but admin, I hate calling it something. Nah, it's got to be admin menu div, otherwise I don't even get in the right area. Admin menu. Jeez. It's one of those days. Anybody else feel it? Admin menu clear div. We'll take out the background color. We will use that on this, and we'll use it on all of them by the time we're done. That will give us what we want, I believe. Without affecting the background of it. So I have a hover over currently that it goes black when you hover over, but then it's partially transparent. I don't need to cloud the transparency unless it's something that I'm trying to separate out from the other items. Just trying to make it look right, people. Attention to details. If it doesn't look good, nobody thinks it runs well. If it runs well and doesn't look good, nobody tries it. Okay, so this is using that new class. All it is showing that, and we'll do something with that piece. Okay, so bounced off a couple of these different areas. I'm going to be doing a lot with these menus. I'm going to be cleaning up the way they run. I'm going to be cleaning up the way we clear them. I need to make this a little bit more dynamic. I need to build a lot of pieces here. So I'm going to have to do a lot of background stuff here to clear up this part and get them all into place. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. Well, I want to thank y'all for joining me this evening. Since computers run a little slow, I'm going to call it a day on this piece, and we'll jump back in tomorrow. But I want to thank you for joining me, and but yeah, okay, so we're going to continue working on this. This menu needs some more cleanup. It needs some more different parts here, and if the computer was working faster, I could test things out a little faster, but right now I feel like I'm at a snail's pace because, letting the maintenance finish. But if the maintenance finishes, then tomorrow I'm up and running at full speed, and I can go back to my normal pace and get these things done quicker. So, but yeah, take care, Eva, and the rest of you have a great evening, and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care.